Great day, everyone, and welcome to 3CP TV. My name is Yathis Johnson, and I am the founder and president of Third Culture People. So 3CP TV is a media resource helping individuals become third culture people, where you learn to embrace the greater variety of cultural identities and skillfully bridge the gap between our differences. So today, we're excited. I have a friend of mine, our Amaury, Amaury Sanchez. And Amaury is a wonderful gentleman. He's a first generation Cuban American who came here, who learned how to, and he'll tell you his story. He learned how to educate himself, and he got his degree in engineering, BS in engineering, and then he has a master's in marketing. He's a phenomenal leader. He's a financial planner. He's going to tell you more about himself and what he does. But I want you to know this: when you watch 3CP TV, you learn how to connect with anyone at any time from anywhere in the world. So, Amaury, would you just quickly say hello to our audience?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Amaury Sanchez, and I'm so excited to be here today to share my story and, share, my knowledge and how I became a financial planner in this country.
Wonderful, wonderful. So he's going to tell you more about that. But let me tell you this: becoming a third culture person will not only grow you personally, but it will grow you professionally, allowing you to expand beyond your imagination and your limitations. So we say this at 3CP: we change the way you view DE&I, diversity, equity, and inclusion everywhere. So, Amaury, would you just, before I forget, because I know I always do this, would you just share with everyone how they can get in contact with you? Because if I don't get it in now, brother, I'm going to forget. So would you just tell everyone how they can get in touch with you?
Absolutely. So let's start with my presence online, right? They can go to massmutual.com /Amaury Sanchez.
Mm-hmm.
So let me repeat it again. It's advisors.massmutual.com /Amaury Sanchez. Or they can look me up on LinkedIn and just type my name, Amaury Sanchez, right? Or they can reach out directly to me via phone, and my phone number is 201-472-0431.
Awesome,
Or
awesome.
via email. Actually, via email, it's another method, right, that they can use. It's Amaury Sanchez at financialguide.com.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So there you have it, folks. I mean, you've got multiple ways of contacting Amaury. So Amaury, thank you for that. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to participate in 3CP TV, make yourself available for this interview. I just appreciate you and what you bring. We actually met through this group of entrepreneurs and business individuals who, we're all trying to make a difference in the world. And so we met through that group, and we have these Zoom calls on a weekly basis. I've appreciated what you bring to the table there. And would you just, we gave a brief introduction of yourself, but feel free to elaborate a little more about yourself, what you're doing, even, a little bit of your background. From what I understand, you came here as first generation Cuban. Share with us more about yourself.
Well, that's sort of a long story, but just to make it simple, I came to the States in 2011, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm an engineer. That's my background, and I have a master's degree in marketing. But then when I came to this country, I was trying to figure out what the next steps was gonna be.
Yeah.
And I knew that I had a passion for teaching people and providing value, and basically educating people.
Yeah.
And I'm fortunate enough to be surrounded by a lot of teachers. My best friends are teachers.
Wow.
So in fact, I wanted to become a teacher when I came here. But then, I evolved and came across this company, Mass Mutual Financial Group. And maybe because that's a calling, my dad is, he was a director of a bank in Cuba.
Okay.
My mom worked in accounting. And then maybe, finances in general, that's my calling, right? And that's a perfect, field for me to develop. And then I decided to further my education with a couple of designations. One, it's a retirement income certified professional, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is wealth management certified professional. I did it in Pennsylvania
Mm-hmm.
at the American College of Financial Services.
Mm.
So, and that's a little bit about the my background.
Yep.
I'm currently affiliated with Mass Mutual Financial Group, and I
Good.
do comprehensive financial planning for individuals and companies in general.
Wow. Wow. So listen, if you have a financial need, um, of just learning, growing, expanding your financial status, learning how to manage your money, retirement, insurance. This is the guy. Amaury Sanchez is the guy that you want to connect with. So, Amaury, tell us how do you feel you've been called to use your gifts, talents, and skills to solve a problem or heal a pain? And you alluded to some of that already, but to dive in a little bit deeper, how are you healing a pain or solving a problem that people have based on what you do?
Yeah, what I found, talking to individuals, families, and companies, every single day, what I found is that they lack financial literacy,
Mm,
and that's why I'm so passionate about first educating people,
yep.
and that's one of my, my calling, right, to help people via education first. I
Mm,
firmly believe that education is the key to success long term,
yep.
and if you work on that and invest in yourself, you're gonna be successful. So that's why it takes some time to first, get to know people first.
Mm-hmm.
And we have an approach to financial planning, and I call it a goal-based approach.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of me recommending something based on something that you share with me, I take the time to really understand your situation first, put myself in your shoes, and see
Mm-hmm.
how I can help, right?
Mm,
And we define your goals in the short term,
mm-hmm.
midterm, and long term. And based on that, we do reverse engineering
Mm-hmm.
to figure out what you have to do today to be able to get there in the most efficient manner. It's all about efficiency. Maybe that's because of my background as an engineer. I'm trying
I
to
hear
figure
that
out
engineering language there.
yeah, the most efficient way to get to your goals, right? And that's and sort of the approach. And then from there, we explore, where you at financially, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the next step in the process is, figuring out the risks that you may face along the way, and we put in place plans to be able to tackle those risks. And after that, we can start talking about wealth accumulation, which is, mainly the goal of many people.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get there, we have to do some work, right?
Yep.
And after that, we can start talking about tax planning,
Mm-hmm.
because obviously you want to maximize what you get to keep, right? It's not about what you make, it's about
Mm-hmm.
what you get to keep, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, obviously, through life, you're going to start planning for retirement planning, right?
Mm-hmm.
And after that, it's going to be legacy planning for those who are, they want to leave a legacy and they want to leave the world better than they found it. We have strategies for them to be able to accomplish those goals. That's a 30,000 overview of our process, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a few seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow. So that's huge. But let me piggyback on some of these things that you're saying because they're wonderful, um, great. You know, obviously they are helpful and they're forward thinking. However, you have people who are just intimidated by this area. They're living from paycheck to paycheck. They have they're clueless and quite they're intimidated by this whole conversation. And I know there are many people out there that are just solely intimidated. They don't want to look foolish. They don't even know where to begin, Amaury. And so, I mean, you're saying some wonderful things. You're talking about precision. You're talking midterm, short term, midterm, long term. I mean, these are terms and definitions that are over people's head. They haven't had opportunity to hear it, see it from one generation to the next. Here they are. How do you help them get over that fear and that intimidation of this whole conversation?
Well, that's when you have to put your teacher's hat and say, let's take a step back, right? And start with small steps as
Hmm.
opposed to going for the big goals, right? Let's start with something short term. Let's take
Okay.
care of you today, and then we'll figure out the rest. Because I'd rather start doing something than nothing. Sometimes people get, frozen, and they don't, take action. And that's the last thing that we want to hear. We want people to 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 take steps forward, small steps, right? So, and that's my goal initially. Then they become more comfortable, using the
Mhm.
language
Yeah.
and trying to understand. And there's a feedback, a back and forth conversation all the time, right?
Mm.
And from there we build on. So that's sort of the approach. And I try to use, lame language, because again, I'm an immigrant. I'm one of them, right?
Mm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can relate to them because I come from the same place.
Mm.
So I know what they're going through because I went through, right?
Good.
It wasn't that successful early on, like everyone else. If you haven't failed in business, you're not gonna be successful. You have to fail first
Yeah. Yeah.
to learn how to be successful then
Hmm.
later.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's sort of the approach that we
Okay.
take. And one of the techniques that we use, we do a lot of workshops and webinars and
Hmm.
educational programs.
Oh, wow.
We have
Really?
partnerships with school system districts in New
Okay.
Jersey.
Yeah.
And in the, well, quite frankly, now with the use of technology, we can do it for the whole country,
Yeah.
right? Specifically for college planning, we're so passionate about that, because we believe there's a huge problem in this country when it comes to college planning. There's more
Yeah.
than 1.5 trillion in debt, right? And we're trying to
Wow.
help families
0.5 trillion.
reduce the burden, right?
Hmm.
And what happens is, what we found is, people don't plan ahead of time, and they don't
Hmm.
have a plan,
Yep.
and they rely only on government support. But
Hmm.
guess what? Government support is just a help. It's a loan, but you have to
Yeah.
pay it back.
Yeah.
It's not a gift. So
Hmm.
you have to take steps to be able to be prepared and borrow less than what most people are borrowing right now.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
Mhm.
Well, Amaury, one of the things that in our conversations earlier, you had indicated that you're basically like an entrepreneur. You're not working a 9 to 5 and have a cushy job where you're going to get a paycheck. But tell us a little bit, because I don't fully understand the details. But tell us, you have an entrepreneurial spirit, and the type of work you're doing is somewhat like it's entrepreneurial, running your own business. So help break this down. Help us understand that structure by which you do your work.
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, we have a sort of a hybrid,
Hmm.
structure,
Okay.
and what basically that means is, we use the back office of Mass Mutual, the
Hmm.
infrastructure, um, and but we have to go out there and help people, right? That's our
Hmm.
job, to be in front of as many people and make a difference in the world by educating them, financially speaking, right?
Hmm.
And but they use the resources, right? And we get paid from them directly.
Hmm.
um, but we have to go out there. They don't provide us, businesses. We have to go out there, and we have to run our businesses. We have to invest in our business. We have to do campaigns. We have to pay for marketing. We have to
Mm.
participate in different events. You have to grow your business organically, right? It is
Mm.
not given to you. You have to
Right.
go out there. So essentially, and that's the beauty of this structure, you have the best of both worlds. You have the
Mm.
support of a great company behind you,
Yep.
right? And at the same time, you have the freedom to go out there and help whoever you feel like, it's in need, and you're comfortable talking to, and and
Hmm.
providing value, essentially. So
Wow.
that's different than being a sole entrepreneur,
Hmm.
right? Because for some of the services that we offer, we need that structure, especially on the execution side. For
Hmm.
example, in the case of investments, you need a broker dealer to be able to execute transactions, right? I'm not an institution. I don't have the software to be able to execute those transactions.
Hmm.
So if someone wants to save for retirement and they want to open up an IRA, for example, an individual retirement account, they need a way to buy those companies. And I don't
Mm.
have that in my, right, in my house, in my office. So that's why we use that structure. But that
Okay.
doesn't mean we are captive. We
Right.
use multiple companies depending on who's the best out there in the marketplace.
Hmm.
We call it a fiduciary responsibility, meaning we have to do
Mm.
what is the best interest of the client at all times,
Wow.
regardless of who you're affiliated with.
So that's key. That's key what you just said. The interest of the client. So it's not about you making so much. I mean, obviously you want to make money. That's why you're in the business. But it's not about you taking advantage of the client to make your money. But it's about you considering and being cognizant and even making a priority your client's wishes and will. Is that correct?
Absolutely. We have like it's an open architecture type of deal, right? In which we are primarily affiliated with Mass Mutual, but we have access through Mass Mutual to many other companies, and we
Hmm.
have no restrictions when it comes to providing value through other companies. In
Hmm.
fact, we get appointed directly with those companies, right? So it's not like, hey, if you need this, I'm gonna use this company. Why?
Hmm.
Because I'm affiliated with them. No,
Yeah.
I have a higher calling, and I have to abide by the standards, the code of ethics of the American College of Financial Services, which is a nonprofit organization that oversee our services, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's why,
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Hey, we have a few more minutes here. So I want to switch gears here and I want to
okay,
talk about culture because that's what we're about.
all
We're
right,
we're about people and we're about culture. So we want to add value to people. And that's why we do 3CP TV. And I bring on wonderful guests like yourself who are educated, who provide services and make a difference in people's lives and add value. But tell us three things about your culture you would like the audience to know, because I learned a little bit that I wasn't aware of. Obviously, you're from Cuba, but tell us some things about your culture that you like the
well,
audience to know.
you can easily figure out that Cubans are like like Caribbeans in general. We
Hmm.
are entrepreneurs. I know so many of my peers, they've come to the States. We have a long history coming to the United States and many places around the world,
Hmm. Hmm.
and we have created so many businesses, and that's
Wow.
even before the current administration in Cuba.
Hmm.
So that's a long history of being an entrepreneur. So that's in our blood, right?
Wow.
And the second thing that I will mention is we value education.
Wow.
That's
Okay.
most Cubans when they come,
Hmm.
they have some sort of degrees,
Yeah.
right? And that's why they can make it happen somehow, some way,
Hmm.
because they have the spirit, they have the education,
Hmm.
and all you need is opportunity. And that's what this country and others provide, right? So
Hmm.
that's a great combination. Another one will be we're really competitive, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
That's ingrained in our, in our minds,
Hmm.
and we're really passionate, right?
Wow.
And like good Caribbeans, we like uh, to dance and enjoy
Mhm.
life.
Yeah. Yeah.
We go about it, you know, sort of a different way. So we enjoy life.
That's
So
great.
that's we're not so serious about life to an extent,
Hmm.
in the sense that we enjoy the goods and the bads, and we have a way to get out of problems. We're resilient, right? When it
Wow.
comes
Resilient.
to
I love that. I love
yeah,
that. So
and
now one thing you did mention to me that it's pretty diverse in Cuba as well. I didn't know that. Tell us a little bit about that.
absolutely, I'm not one of those in this country, even though I'm sort of white.
Hmm.
Um, um, you know, I was born with a lot of people from different cultures, especially in our particular case, Africa. We call it Afro Cubans,
So
and
people like my skin color.
yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yes, there's a long history,
Hmm.
and that goes back to the 15th century.
Hmm.
And they got to Cuba and Dominican Republic and Haiti and different
Hmm.
places, and because of that, we have it's about 20% of the population. It's from
Hmm.
um,
Okay.
from Africa,
Yeah.
and a small minority from China, really
Okay.
really tiny,
Yep.
but most of them are European,
Hmm.
especially from Spain.
Yeah.
But I've seen leaders and a lot of athletes and scientists. So in Cuba, you have a great mix of people from different colors, and we have
Mm,
mixed up each other for many, many, many years. So there's no such thing like black or white. They're all
mhm,
mixed.
mm.
So because somewhere in your family tree, you have some sort of African root,
Yeah,
put it that
yeah,
way. So
yeah.
we're really comfortable. My best friends are Afro-Cubans, most of them
Wow,
in
wow.
college, and it's sort of normal. So that's why when I came to the States, I'm okay. I don't know why that big deal. Quite frankly,
Mm,
I'm kind of
yeah.
surprised. So
Yeah, yeah. These racial tensions, they're and we'll talk about that in another topic, another episode. I'll bring you in to talk more about that. But hey, talk to me. Lastly, I just got a couple more seconds here. You in the Caribbean. When you mentioned the Caribbean, you started mentioning some other countries. I started thinking about food because I'm a big foodie. Tell me, is Cuban food really good?
well, if you ask a Cuban, yes, right. But you know, I was one of those who I was born in the '80s,
Hmm.
and I barely enjoy traditional Cuban food. And quite frankly, and this is just between you and I,
Hmm.
and the 3CP TV
And the audience
audience,
now.
uh, I have found a lot of really good Cuban food in the United States, because
Mm,
those Cubans that immigrated to the United States in the early '60s, they brought in our culture, right?
mm, yeah.
And they kept it, and that's why I have discovered many things that I didn't know were Cuban, quite frankly, because of what
Wow.
happened in 1990s. So
Yeah.
it was a terrible period for Cuba. But anyhow, point is that that's really good. Cuban food is
Yeah.
really good, really
Yeah.
delicious, and
Okay. Well, hey, listen. Is there a restaurant in New Jersey that you can, refer us to?
well, there's a couple. One, it's I call it Havana 59. That's the
Mm,
name, Havana
okay.
59. All
Yeah.
right. It's
Havana
actually
59.
a few blocks away from my house. It's a
Mm-hmm.
great Cuban restaurant, well decorated with all American cars outside, great paintings, live music, decent price, and it's always you know
Good.
available, right?
Good. Yeah.
So
Good. Good. Well, listen, folks, we are out of time. Amaury Sanchez, thank you so much. And thank you all for tuning into 3CP TV, where you learn how to connect with anyone at any time from anywhere in the world. Amaury, would you just say goodbye to our audience?
goodbye, everyone, and thank you for taking time to listen to this interview.